It is the Big Biz Show. We're live inside the Loft 100 studios. Beautifully air-conditioned, so comfortable. Speaking of comfortable, the Day Trader Trio right there on the screen. Best in the business, no less than self-taught. We affectionately call the DTT. Back here at the bar as the show rolls on, it's Customary, Godwin, and Sully.
Always nice when we have viewers call us up or text us about companies. Although, you know, we get to talk to guys like Alon Goran, you know, the blockchain guy, and Troy Hazard and Shep Hyken, who are not even involved in companies. We get to talk to celebrities sometimes, but we get to talk to CEOs of public companies because we're just that important.
We are.
Well, I am. And Mary is also.
We're along for the ride. Ajay Amlani is the CEO of Aware Incorporated. Their ticker symbol is AWRE. And when I first found out that he was the co-founder of the entity that would become Clear at our airports, I'm like, oh,
I brag about Clear all the time.
Yeah.
And I kind of walk in the airport saying, you know, I'm kind of a pretty big deal. People know me. Where's the Clear?
Where's the Clear line?
Right there where everybody else is going. But that's what they say.
Pretty much.
AJ, welcome to the program. Nice to see you, man.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Aware is interesting because once again we're talking about biometrics, we're talking about identity and defense technology. And boy, if these last 3 weeks of news cycle don't tell you that you're at the right place at the right time, I don't know what would. Talk about the overview and your role in business and technology, and then obviously the overlay that you could put on world events and events in the U.S. as well, because I think you're here to keep all of us safe.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I mean, I've never really thought about it that way. Honestly, I'm just trying to do my part. And honestly, the people that are here to really keep us safe are the people that serve the public on a daily basis. I mean, our public servants within government who have been through tried and true difficult times, right? And shutdowns and things that are getting politicized that I never thought would get politicized.
Yeah.
The Department of Homeland Security is near and dear to my heart, having been one of the co-founders along with 180,000 other people. And being in the central department of that, basically being one of the 5 advisors to Secretary Ridge in the first year was truly an honor for me. And it was the best and hardest job I've ever had in my life, even to this day.
If you think in terms of biometric identity, obviously it goes past everything in terms of you're not in just one lane. We're not just in a lane of business. We're in a lane of defense. We're in a lane of even all kinds of security. Talk about what you guys do and where you're going to land here in very short. Yeah,
absolutely. Sure thing. You know, originally I fell in love with identity and the concept of identity back actually helping to protect the country after 9/11. And I hadn't thought about it very much earlier in my life. But then all of a sudden, you know, the question was raised to me, how did we allow these people to be able to get on the aircraft? And then further, you know, how are people basically convinced at some point in time that it's worth basically ending their own life to be able to end the lives of other innocent people in some kind of a political statement. And so the whole thing sort of blew my mind. So I thought about identity as both, are you who you say you are, but also who are you? And when that sort of concept of identity came about, identity is something that I think we all take for granted. Honestly, you know, we historically have always sort of evolved from cave people, let's say, in little villages. And then as we started to travel between villages, the idea of proving that you are who you say you are came about. And then we now started to sort of think about carrying documents that can prove our identity, which are like derived identities. But in reality, identity lives within all of us. It's actually in us carbon-based life forms. And now to this day, there's billions of people out there. But if you look at the digital world right now, you see about 55 or 60% of online traffic actually being conducted by bots. That's exponentially growing year to year. So you're expecting basically a huge amount of traffic in the digital space to be conducted by things that are not actual carbon-based life forms. Are they authorized by carbon-based life forms? We don't know. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. And who and which ones? And so this problem of identity, while it materialized originally in my mind around 9/11 with physical humans going into airports or basically coming into the country, now has kind of evolved into this concept of digital identity and how difficult it is to prove that people that are online are in fact who they say they are, and how many tools that are readily available now to bad actors to be able to impersonate somebody else, both physically, by voice, learn more about them, know all of their secret information. All of that is readily available now at the touch of your fingertips. Those tools have been democratized. to be able to allow for not just nation state actors, where I was with the Department of Defense for 3.5 years, helping to start the first ever Silicon Valley unit of the DoD. We were tracking a lot of nation state actors. Now all of a sudden, those sophisticated tools are in the hands of basement and dorm room bad actors.
Ajay Amlani is the CEO of Aware Incorporated, joining us today on the Big Biz Show, ticker symbol AWRE.
Hey, AJ, I'm Mary. Nice to meet you. And God, this is all really fascinating and making my head go crazy. But I'm thinking about usage in terms of people, like you said, who they say they are on the other end of the computer screen. And I'm thinking about, on Instagram, for example, you just check a box to say, I'm 13 or whatever the age is. And they're trying to implement things of teenager accounts. But is there a time when they would actually use their eyeball or their fingerprint to establish their platform, and that is then tied to who they are, so it's automatically proven that they're over 13?
Yeah, it's really fascinating, right? Because if you think about the concept of using physical attributes to identify yourself, this is actually what over millennia humans are actually accustomed to. It's very normal for us to be able to use physical attributes to be able to prove that we are who we say we are. That's how we always have been recognized. It's only over the last few hundred years that we've started to really use documents to be able to identify ourselves. And so, but similar to the way that sort of Terminator and the idea that robots will come about and be able to sort of like destroy our world because all of a sudden they'll be self-aware, led to a decrease in AI investment and a concern and a scare around AI. Minority Report came out in 2000, and that also led to a huge scare about biometrics. Are we going to end up in a surveillance society? That's not always the end case, and that's not the end state. And that led to a significant amount of concern around biometrics and privacy advocates and other things like that, not recognizing that basically biometrics are the ultimate privacy-preserving way to be able to prove that you are who you say you are. You literally walk around with them yourself, and you're in control of them.
But can you tell us why we really want to care about deepfakes? What's the real bad news that we don't want to hear?
If President Trump comes out and announces something like war on Cuba, are we actually at war with Cuba? Is that the real President Trump? What channel did you actually get it from? And this kind of threat about like an artificially created video now, when all of these things are real time available to you online, like on Snapchat filters 5 years ago, there were basically the ability to impersonate somebody completely, like very accurately online. You can change your face, you can change your voice, you could change a lot of other things. These are just on play tools like Snapchat. Imagine like what actual tools that bad actors have to be able to impersonate a CEO on a video call. There's already been examples of people getting hired from North Korea into jobs, into even cybersecurity companies. There's been examples of like a CFO directing $10 million to be wired out to somebody who basically just was a fraudulent actor on a video call. So as these tools are starting to become more and more available and democratized, as I mentioned, you need to set up real capabilities of measuring and assessing the real carbon-based life form behind the identity. And how do you do that? What's that translation layer between the physical internet, the digital internet, and a physical human being? That is biometrics in essence. Yeah. Like basically biometrics is the only tool that allows you to do that. Everything else is like an email address or a password or a device ID or something else like that. You can't assess the carbon-based life form. Biometrics are the only translation layer between the two.
Ajay Amlani, CEO.
You got to come back, man.
Please do.
We need you. This is fantastic stuff, bud.
Aware Inc. is the company AWRE, their ticker symbol. As long as he keeps Skynet from going active, we're good. I don't want no Terminator. All right, keep it right here. Much more to come with the Big Biz Show right after this.